Welcome to Basketball Wednesday. Today we're going to go over the NBA playoff first round, second round, because obviously I didn't have a computer during those times, so I couldn't really talk about it. We're going to go out of the way, and then we're also going to review game one of both the conference finals, and that's what we are right now. And then we're going to preview and predict game two of the conference finals, and then kind of just talk about it, maybe say who I think's going to win at this point, stuff like that. Predict the NBA Finals predictions as of right now, stuff like that. And then we're gonna go over an article from The Athletic, like winners and losers of the college basketball all season, because I don't really know where else to get the all season news. And it was also made like way earlier this month, like the 2nd of May, I think. Might be a bit outdated, might be not the best, but it's something. So without further, did not mean to move the computer, move that back. Okay, anyways. Without further ado, we could probably just get right into this. Why is my mouse like not mousing? Excuse me. That's not good. Oh. It's like on, but like it's not doing. Okay, I guess I'll just use my mouse pad. In the West, Thunder sweep the Suns. Not particularly close. Thunder completely dominated this series, I would say. I don't know. I feel like there's some points of this series where it was like DB9's going kind of crazy, but then it's like, yep, the Thunder are just a significantly better team, right? So dominate game one. They win game two by 13. They win game three by 12 points, and then they win game four, obviously, by 9 points. So they won convincingly game one. They won the next three by a decent margin, so they definitely controlled that series, and they definitely deserve to win that. Lakers and Rockets. This is coming from a Rockets fan, I'm gonna tell you that right now. But Lakers went up 3-0, and then I'm like, yeah, like that game three when LeBron hit that game-tying three, and the Rockets blew that lead late in the game, lost the first game at home, dropped down 3-0, and then took one at game four. I'm like, okay, desperation. We'll see what the Rockets can do from here. Took game five, and I'm really like, okay, so now they're taking it back home. So now if they can handle business at home, it's a game seven, right? But they couldn't handle business at home. Lakers are the one that's able to handle business. And wait, hold up, okay. Lakers were the one that was able to handle business. They win on the road by 20 points, move on, convincing fashion without Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves for the first couple games, and able to close them out. That was huge for them, because if they would have lost that game, they probably would have lost the game 7, in my opinion. Yeah, the Timberwolves were also hurt. Ant missed quite a couple of games, and the Sumo also missed a couple of games. So they were hurt, and they were able to close out the Nuggets. Went up 3-2, trying to close them out at home, and they handled business. They got the job done with a big time, a 12-point win at home, and they moved on just like that. And the Spurs also handled business. The Trailblazers took game two, I believe, in a bit of an upset, but the Blazers just dominated the rest of that series, and they really explain why they're just the best. They really put it out in there. One of the best. Since Magic. This is one of the best series of the whole postseason, for sure. Game one, Pistons take game one, 112-101. I'm like, they were hitting their shots. They were really controlling. They were controlling the pace of the game. Game two, Pistons take that one by 15. I'm like, yeah, okay, they'll probably win game three and probably win the series in like 5 or 6. But then the Magic take game three by 8 points, and I'm like, okay, this is something. And then the Magic squeak out game four, and they're up 3-1 over the one-seeded Pistons. This is a concern. Pistons take it back home, get the job done in game 5, bring it back to Orlando, win by 14 points in Orlando, force a game 7, get the job done, blow them out by 22 points in game 7, dominate game 7, and get the job done. 3-1 comeback. Game 5, they were, I think, who was it? I think Desmond Bane, I believe it was, kind of hurt. Game 6, completely blew it. They were up. They dominated the second quarter. The Magic dominated the second quarter of Game 6. Completely blew it in the second half. Lost it. And that's the reason they lost. They lost Game 6, and they took it back to Detroit, and they lost. They got dominated in Game 7. So the last 6 quarters of that series was all Pistons, and they tried to take it in the second round, but we'll talk about that in a second. Cavaliers and the Raptors. This is also probably the other best series of the postseason up to this point. Game 1 goes to the Cavaliers. They win by 13 points. They were just the better team for the first 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, the Raptors showed some life. Try to take that into Game 2. But yeah, the Cavs are definitely the better team. Donovan Mitchell, 32 points. Really took this team. Game 1 victory. Game 2, Cavaliers hang on. They win by 10 points. They have a great first quarter, and they're just able to hang on throughout the game. Mitchell, another 30-point performance. James Harden, 28 points. They take Games 2. Both of the first 2 games. Raptors dominate Game 3, won by 22 points. Scotty Barnes and R.J. Barrett combined for 66 points in a dominant Game 3 win for the Raptors. Game 4, I was about to say R.J. Barrett. That's a future game that's coming up. 4-point Raptors come up clutch, able to hang on. Pretty much hang on to the season and bring it back to Cleveland tied 2-2. The Cavaliers win that game by 5, another nail biter. They're able to close it out. Very well-rounded performance from the Cavaliers, and they win at home. So the Raptors, here's the situation. Game 6, Raptors are down by 1 in overtime at home. Game 6, season on the line. R.J. Barrett has the ball, chucks the ball up from 30 feet with 1.2 seconds left. It bounces off the back of the rim, up, it's over. Bounces right in. R.J. Barrett, ice water right there with a lucky bounce. Goes in with a second left. Mobley misses a 29-foot lead-taking bomb. And Raptors forced a Game 7. In that Game 7, the Cavaliers looked better. The first quarter was very even. First half very even, but a dominant third quarter from the Cavaliers really iced the Raptors. And Cavaliers move on. Knicks and the Hawks. This one was fun. It was pretty fun. Hold just a second. Okay. This series is pretty good. This series is fun. Game 1, the Knicks stick by 11. They look pretty good in this one. Game 2, the Hawks able to 16-foot game-winning fadeaway from McCollum, and they're able to hang on. They win Game 2 as well by 1 point again. McCollum. They won Game 3 by a walk-off fadeaway. I mean, they kind of did in both games. So they have a 2-1 series lead coming at this point. Game 4, Knicks need to win. They win pretty big. Game 5, they dominate the Hawks. And then Game 6, wow, this was something. They won by 51 points. And they were up by 50 points at halftime. Dominated Game 6. Closed them out. We're moving on to the second round. Sixers, this is another interesting one. Game 1, the Celtics dominate. Game 2, the Sixers pretty much dominate. They won by 14. They were pretty convincing. Game 3, Celtics able to take one in Philly. Home court goes back to Boston. Game 3, Boston dominates. Take both games in Philly. Game 5, Sixers show that desperation. Won by 16 points. Game 6, Mazzulla sits out his players with 5-6 minutes, quite a bit of time left. I think it's more than that. Rest his players basically accept the Game 7, and they lose by 13 points in that Game 7. 3-1 comeback for Philly. They beat the Sixers. They beat the Celtics, and they move on to the second round. Here's the second round. Round starting, Thunder and the Lakers. Game 1, Thunder dominate. They win this one by 18 points. They just looked really, really good. 108-90. They were just hitting their shots. They were really closing off the Lakers' opportunity to score. Game 2, they also win by 18. Dominate the first 2 games in Oklahoma. Game 3, they dominate the Lakers again. This time winning by an even bigger margin of 23. So they dominate the first 3 games. Game 4, a little bit closer. It was like a 1-point game heading in the halftime. Thunder able to close it out, win by 5 on the road. Back-to-back sweeps for the Thunder. They punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals as easy as it gets. We look at the Spurs and the Timberwolves. Spurs won their series in 6. Game 1, the Timberwolves upset the Spurs 104-102 on the road. Spurs went back-to-back absolute annihilation in Game 2. Squeak out a 7-point win in Game 3. Lose by 5 points in Game 5. Game 4. Head to Game 5 in San Antonio. Tied 2 apiece. Spurs dominate. Game 6, they close them out, win by 20. They were controlling the pace of this game. They were definitely the better team this game. Spurs won back-to-back games, twice that series. Able to win in 6 games and move on to play the Thunder in the all-time classic conference finals. I can already tell you that now. Second round for the Eastern Conference. Cavaliers and the 1-seeded Pistons. Game 1, Pistons win by 10 points. Pistons win 3 straight games in the last series. Win Game 1. They're looking like the true 1-seed right now. They're looking good. Game 2, they also win. This team, this team's going to go to the conference finals. Game 3, Cavaliers able to squeak it out. I had the Cavaliers winning the series in 7 originally. And then the Cavaliers win again in Game 4. And then they get the Game 5 in Detroit, tied 2 apiece. I said this. The Cavaliers win Game 5, they 100% win the series. They win that game in overtime, 117-113 in overtime. Just a phenomenal game. Great second half from the Cavs. Win that game. Steal it. Pistons dominate Game 6 on the road. Force a Game 7, and the Cavaliers destroy the Pistons in Game 7. I predict that one way for the Cavs to win at 7. Cavaliers win at 7 to face the Knicks or the 76ers. It's actually already determined at this point, but either way, not quite the point. Okay. So the Knicks completely destroy in Game 1. Completely destroy them, right? They won Game 1 by 39 points. Just complete dominance. That was insane. And then they squeak out a big Game 2 win by 6 points. They win Game 3 by 14 points. And then they win Game 4 and complete the sweep by 30 points on the road. Dominant. Back-to-back 30-plus point wins and closeout games for the Knicks. Phenomenal for the Knicks. Able to close out games with dominance. That's a great thing to have this time of the year. So here we are. That all leads up to the conference finals. So we got both of the Game 1s done at this point. We want to start at Monday. Monday, May 18th, Game 1, Spurs at the Thunder. Spurs have yet to lose a game in the playoffs, but the Spurs have won to 6. Or I've lost at least one game in both series, including coming off a relatively close series against the Timberwolves. This is absolute cinnamon. We knew that from the beginning all season long. Dead even first quarter. Second quarter, the Spurs looked good. They were hitting the shots. They were completely shutting down the Thunder. The third quarter, it was dead even. Fourth quarter, the Thunder have a great end of the fourth quarter, force overtime. Overtime was going back and forth as Wemby, Caruso. They were just going at it. They forced a second overtime. Wemby cannot hit the game winner. And in second overtime, the Spurs looked good. The Spurs were controlling the pace. They were pushing the tempo. They were shutting down the Thunder. And they steal Game 1. Double overtime, Game 1 victory on the road for the Spurs. Thunder lose their first game of the postseason. And now Thunder have to beat them in San Antonio to win the series. They have to. The other Game 1, the next night, Cavaliers, they were up by 20 or 25, 20 points with 5 minutes left. It's over. Cavaliers win Game 1. It runs through Cleveland. Cleveland has a chance to go to the finals. But then the Knicks just go on a 44-11 run between the end of the fourth quarter, then overtime, obviously, to end the game, force overtime, and then dominate overtime. James Harden, 6 turnovers, 5 fouls, shot horrendous. Rest of the team couldn't step up to carry his load towards the end of the game. Knicks believed in each other. They came all the way back, won overtime. They won Game 1 back-to-back overtime Game 1s for both series, first time in NBA history. And yeah, Spurs lead their series 1-0. Knicks lead their series 1-0. Here's what I think's gonna happen from here on out. In this series, Thunder series, I think the Thunder win game 2. I think they win game 3. I think the Spurs win game 4. I think Thunder win game 5. Spurs win game 6. Thunder win game 7. I think Thunder in 7. Okay? I had that prediction originally. I think Knicks take game 2. Cavs take game 3. Knicks in game 4. In game 5, I think the Knicks win a game. Give me the Knicks in 5. NBA championship, me the Thunder in game 1. Knicks, Thunder, Knicks, Thunder. I think the Thunder win in 6. I think Thunder repeat. I think whoever wins the Western Conference Finals will win their championship, I think. They're the 2 best teams in basketball. I don't think that's that much to argue. Okay, so when was it? I don't necessarily remember when this was made. It said before, though. April 22nd. So this is men's college basketball all-season winners and losers. Winners, Florida. Intentions, Alex Condon, Thomas Hall, Robert Trinley, if he returns, Land. Wait, I think last year, was this last year for real? It was not this year, really. Uben Klovzar, and Isaiah Brown. The Gators are here because of borderline miraculous attention. So they basically returned all the players last year. This team, I don't know. This team will be a top tier team again. I'll tell you that much. They'll probably get a 1 seed again. I'm not gonna lie. That is crazy. Illinois, another winner. Portal addition, Stephen Vax. Portal losses, Ty Rogers, Brandon Lee, Tony Billups, and Petrovic. Key retentions, Ivasic, I don't honestly know what I said. Mirkovic, Jake, oh my goodness gracious. Jake Davis, Andrei Stojakovic, and Severe Ivasic. So both of the brothers, Mirkovic, Davis, and Stojakovic, all come back. Illinois is going to be another top tier team. I'll tell you that. UConn. They get Murray Jr., Mournes, and Jaden Ross back, including a couple big-time portal additions as well. St. Louis. They get McClary back, Ray Green, Kellen Thomas, Quentin Jones, and Ashan Sharma. They get a couple of good players back and add a great portal addition. Arizona. They bring a couple big players. They get a couple big portal players. They're gonna be back. They're really strong. Duke. They get the Gongba back. Dame Saw, Kayla Foster, and Caden Bruiser back. They also get John Blackwell, the Wisconsin transfer. And I don't know how to say his name. I'm not gonna lie. Great addition in the portal. Losers. Kansas or Kentucky. The Tyrone Stokes sweepstakes loser. Whoever loses that, I believe Kansas actually won that. I know that. So Kentucky was the loser there. TU, they didn't get any, but lost. Fit Punch, Leviticus, Jace Posey, Caden Edwards, Ashton Simons, my bad. RJ Jones, Adam Stewart, Mr. Vinny, over there. They lost basically everybody and didn't really add anybody. TU is gonna be way worse next year. Lost all the players as well, and they didn't really get much, back. So they're gonna be probably pretty bad. Seton Hall, they lost a lot of players as well and didn't get very much back. Most of the teams like Santa Clara is gonna not be as good next year. I think most of the good teams are good. Most years are going to be good again. I think that's really what it's going to come down to. But I think Florida's going to be really good. I think Wisconsin's going to take a step down. I think Illinois is going to be really good. I think Duke's going to be, prediction right now, Duke is going to be #1 overall next year. Honestly, I think they'll find a way. But yeah, that's going to do it for Basketball Monday. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.